Stacy, my friend. It is so exciting to talk again. We used to do these Zoom calls all the time. Do you remember?
I did. I do remember. I think, were they daily or weekly? I mean, I just saw you all the time, and I'm looking at you now and you're glowing. And so it's thrilling to be with you again, Elizabeth.
And we talked about picking them up again because for me, they were motivating and inspirational.
Yes.
I'd like to introduce you to my friends as that kind of a person. This is Stacy Moscotti Moore. She's just an awesome friend. And
thank you.
And
I'm somebody that didn't fill out the bio information, so.
Uh-oh. Well,
it's all good. No,
as long as you fill out the contact information, so all of my friends can get in touch with you.
Absolutely.
Your friends. Stacy, times have changed more than just us being busy with all of our different things now. You had a baby about a year ago.
I did. I have a beautiful 14-month-old named Cecilia Jude. She's named after my husband and my favorite songs. Okay. And we call her CJ for short, and she's a firecracker.
And then you have Olivia.
I do. And she just turned 10 last week.
And you had a quarantine birthday party.
We did.
How did that work out? How'd she feel about it?
It's amazing. It was a real lesson for me because I was so stressed out and mourning that she wouldn't get to be with her friends. And I didn't even really consciously know I was feeling this. And then we got 70 balloons. Bless my husband. He went and got all these balloons and we filled up the balloons. We decorated the house because she was with her dad from Sunday to Tuesday, which is the normal schedule. So he had her on her birthday morning, and then she came over in the afternoon, and we had the cake that she wanted, and she had, I had reached out to her teacher, her fourth grade teacher, and said, it's her birthday. Is there any way that the class could get together to sing her happy birthday? And so they had class that day, but they all sang her happy birthday. And I reached out to all of my friends to say, hey, can you make videos and things? Because I just wanted her to feel special and to not feel that she missed anything. And what ended up happening was she loved all the balloons. She kind of was fine with whatever we would have done. You know, she had a great birthday, and I think I wanted it to be more special for her. Then she was like, it's cool, I'm 10, yay. She loved her class singing to her, me showing all the friends. She's like, who are these people, Mommy? I'm like, these are my friends. But she got what she wanted. She got a little camera, like it's like a Polaroid.
Oh, but I bet she loves it.
Oh yeah, she's taking all these photos, and she got a laser tag. So my husband and her are playing. It's like zombie apocalypse games. They're playing laser tag in the middle of the street, on our street, because there's no cars, because everybody's inside, and they're rolling and they're diving behind cars, and I'm like, it's like The Walking Dead, you know, the live show outside my window.
And with this setting, it almost seems that surrealistic, doesn't it?
It's crazy. We took a walk 2 days ago, and before that, 2 weeks ago, we took another walk. I haven't physically left the house. My husband is the one who's done the grocery shopping, but I haven't left the house. And so it is very strange to go outside and be able to walk in the middle of the street. But the people that I've run into are lovely. We're craving this human connection. And I said to Michael, my husband, I said, it feels like we're like in a small town all of a sudden, because it was a nice day 2 days ago. We took the baby out in the stroller, and everybody, hi neighbor. And it was very like Rockwellian, or, you know, Leave It to Beaver, in that idyllic 1950s sense of the old time community. And we're walking, and there's these beautiful tulips. And the woman of the house was outside sweeping, and I walked up with the stroller and I said, oh, those are beautiful tulips. She goes, oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad that somebody can enjoy. Are you Stacy? And I went, yes. And she goes, is that CJ of the CJ show on Facebook? And I went, yes, it is. I said, you have a fan club, honey, to my little 14-month-old. It was the mother of one of my friends that I did theater with growing up, and who I had directed and choreographed her in some shows. And I know her daughter. So we had a lovely chat, and it was so amazing, to be recognized on my first trip out. But just, there's something magical that is present if we choose it, and we can have all the emotions. You know, we can have the fear. I was so sad this morning. I actually cried this morning because doing my work with theater and Broadway, they had made an announcement as of 8 o'clock this morning about Broadway was supposed to restart next week. And obviously we all knew that wasn't going to happen,
Right.
but they've pushed it back now to June 7th. And so I'm sad for all my friends. And one of the Broadway shows closed. Beetlejuice is closed for good now.
It's still not coming back.
No, it was supposed to close June 6th. And now they're opening June 7th. So there's that. But also just if you can see the writing on the wall, that you can read between the lines and say that's more of a timeline that we're probably looking at, an additional 2 months
Right.
of quarantine.
And how's it going to change? Who's going to want to jump right out and run the Broadway?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. They're going to be reading about this time in the history books.
Maybe we'll even be reading about you, because that was a perfect segue.
That was a hot segue, Elizabeth.
That was. You are skilled in segues, and the CJ show is not the only show you do.
No.
You have now been a coach, a theater
Yes.
coach,
Yes.
and you have taken your coaching online.
I have.
Tell us about that.
You know, it's interesting. I feel like I've come out in a way. I always loved coaching and wanting to be an entrepreneur and being psychologically unemployable. I thought, you know, I can coach women and all this stuff, but I could never really make myself. And I had a conversation with somebody about maybe a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, it's all time is compressed, about coaching and I wanted help, and it was free coaching session. And they said, you know, well, tell me about your coaching program. And I shared, he goes, okay. He goes, well, did you ever coach anyone before? I said, yes, I actually have coached theater kids. And he goes, okay, what's that? I don't really, and I explained, and he goes, are you good at that? I said, I'm great at it. I'm like exceptional. I'm world class at this. And I said, I help kids get into the college they want. I help the, you know, it's at that point, it's so important to set up the foundation of auditioning correctly, because it really does feed everything. And he said, do you understand that you sound so on fire for coaching theater and kids, so much more than you did the other thing? I said, but there's like this, I can't really do that. He goes, yes, you can. You can, that's a very viable thing. So I went, okay. And I thought about it and I said, you know, this is, I think it's time to stop resisting that, because this theater has a broke mentality. But then I remembered when I was 11 and I was 12, I attended an audition workshop for free. And that set me up for my entire career, looking back on that 3 hours. It set me up on how to audition, because you don't really, it's so simple, but they don't really teach it. They teach you how to sing, they teach you how to dance. But auditioning is a specific skill, and there's not a lot of coaches teaching that specific skill to this middle school and high school age group. And when I went to college, let me go back. So I auditioned for that show when I was 12. I got the show. It was The King and I was like almost blonde, blue eyes and freckles. I should not have gotten that show, but it taught me how to audition. And then I was doing well in high school, and then I went to Duke, and I didn't audition to go to Duke. This is interesting. Very few people know this. I was petrified to find out if I was bad. I knew I was good in my little world, but I didn't want to know that I couldn't really make it. So I went to Duke for political science, and I auditioned for the musical my freshman year of fall, and I walked in and I did my thing. And when I auditioned, they all were scrambling with papers. And I found out later on, I was one of 5 freshmen to make the musical, which was very, very competitive. And they told me afterward, they said, you walked in and you carried yourself like you knew exactly what you were doing. You were so polished, so professional, and you delivered this audition. And we all said, who's this girl? Did we miss her audition tape? Did she audition? She didn't audition for the theater program for the degree. And I said, no, I said, I wanted to go into political science. Well, I changed to drama and graduated. And I just know that having worked with kids for 25 years, I've worked with kids since 1993. Oh God, that's longer now, 27 years. I was 15 with my first professional choreography gig. And then I was directing, and then I directed professionally, I choreographed professionally, and I just saw these kids making mistakes, and also adults, but the kids don't know, you know? So if I can help them set themselves up with some basic fundamentals, you help them, you know what they don't know, the leap is so quantum. And the confidence is then built, because if theater kids are obsessed with theater, like obsessed with theater, and everything hinges on one audition. Imagine if you had a soccer kid and all they did was practice soccer by themselves at home in their room, didn't really want to show anybody that practicing their soccer, and then they had one game a year. It's a recipe for disaster. So I help kids with the skills of auditioning, with how to handle their nerves, simple things like, where do you look? One of the biggest things I deal with is kids and new people, you know, older people sometimes, but kids, they tend to back up when they get nervous. So they're singing this song, but their nerves are psychologically going, I'm scared, or they don't know what to do with their hands. And if I can just direct them for their little audition, whether it's the middle school teacher or the high school teacher, they go, wow! And all of a sudden this kid quantum leaps and has a much, much higher shot at getting the part that they want. So that's what I do.
That is awesome. You know, the part that I identify with, and maybe a lot of us grown-up kids will identify with, is your story about going to Duke, because it's kind of like the big fish in the little pond. And then we go into the big pond, and we are almost everybody is a little bit hesitant about how this is going to work out for them, right? And so I'm glad it worked out for you the way it did. I can see you being a poli-sci major. You know, I can see this, but I'm glad you did your drama thing. I actually had a chance to go see you on stage, and that was a lot of fun to know who Stacy is, and then to see how Stacy acts. It's a pretty cool. You're good at your thing.
Thank you.
But how did you take this online because of the COVID?
Well, it's interesting. It started to go online before the COVID. I had been doing only in-person coaching here in the Philadelphia area, and that was great. And I got a desperate Facebook message from one of my moms of one of the kids I coach. She has a callback. I worked with her for the audition. The callback is tomorrow. She just got the sides in the song. Can you work with her? And it's like 9 o'clock at night. I said, sure. So we did, it was a FaceTime call.
I see.
And
she auditioned the next day?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And how'd she do?
She did well. She got in the show. She's a junior, and she didn't get the part that she wanted. And that's one of the things I have to tell them. I said, if I could guarantee that working with me for 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever, would get you every part, I would be the most successful person on the planet. In fact, I probably wouldn't be doing it. I would just be going out and getting every part I want.
Right.
There's so many factors. It's about putting yourself in the best light. And more often than not, with theater kids, and this kid's really, really talented, there's a paying your dues process in school. The part went to a senior. And so much of the time, it's so hard to fight that. But it's about doing your best and having your best count and making an impression on the director. So, because usually it's the same director in the middle school and high school programs. So if you are somebody that always gets in the chorus, you give one great audition, you can suddenly be considered for leads. I remember I was directing Beauty and the Beast back in 2006, and there was 100 people in this cast. It was a massive, massive show here in Philadelphia. I had no idea who was going to be the Beast, and it was a summer theater program, so I knew I would say maybe 90% of the people auditioning. And one of the kids I had worked with, he's maybe 6 years younger than me, and I had done many shows with him. He was like almost like family. I did not see him as the beast. He's a sweet guy, talented tap dancer. And he comes in and he sang the Beast song, and he was so good at it that I didn't even think about him, but now I think he's the only one who can do it. And he killed it. He got the part and he killed it. And that's the power of an audition. You can totally transform somebody's expectation of you in a moment. And, we're talking, how does this almost apply to a general audience? That can be true in business. That can be true in relationships. That can be true in family. Everything is, I thought the other day, I said to myself, I could do something general marketplace that's like everything is an audition. Because it really, really is. You're looking to present yourself a certain way and get some sort of outcome that you want. For theater kids, they want to get in the show. But lawyers, they want to present themselves to the jury, to the judge, and get the verdict that they want. Or if you have a presentation, or if you want to go out with somebody, or you want to repair your marriage, or you want to have a great Thanksgiving with family members who you don't agree with. There's ways to prepare in advance. And I think that is the takeaway for everybody. Preparing in advance and doing that during this COVID time, it's a gift. We have time. We can take this time to really prepare ourselves, really dive deep on what we want for our coming out of hibernation. And what do we need to do? There was something that said about, if you don't come out of this without, learning a new language or reading a book or something, it's a discipline problem. I don't ascribe to that. We're surviving a plague right now. So if you can be productive, be productive. If you want to sit and nurture yourself and survive, good on you. But it is one of the things I would recommend if people have the bandwidth is to take on preparation, because people are going to be slacking during this time. So if you want to come out with a strategic advantage, prepare. So I don't think I answered your question. So that's how it went online. And now I'm doing a lot of things online.
Well, Stacy, you've always been online.
I have. Yeah. I like online.
What else are you doing online?
Oh my goodness. So this is where this is going to take a hard turn. So one of the things that building a audition coaching business for teams, where are the teams? They were on TikTok. So I watch Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He's brilliant. He was like, everyone should go on TikTok. Everyone should go on TikTok. And this was like December, January. So I went on TikTok, studied it, and launched, did some videos. And I had one start to go somewhat viral. And I went, wow, okay. And I went from 4 followers to 80 to 1,200 in a short few days. And I've been on YouTube for 10 years and I have 120 subscribers. And it was helping the theater kids. It was about auditioning and I felt great. And that was Saturday, January 24th of this year. And on Sunday, Kobe Bryant died. And Kobe, I actually grew up with Kobe. I went to high school with Kobe. He grew up 5 houses down from me. Everybody asked, were we friends? We were not necessarily friends. He knew of me because he always liked people who were exceptional, whatever they did. And I was the theater person. So he knew of me. And I was the photographer for the school newspaper my senior year, because I knew that to get into the basketball games, getting a press pass was a shortcut because the lines were out the door. That was the whole reason I did it. And I loved photography. So I have all these photos and experiences of Kobe that year that are very unique, in a very unique year, because he was the first person who ever went to the draft right out of high school. So I was devastated. He's 4 days younger than me, and I was crying Sunday night. And my husband said, when we moved here, you found all your old memorabilia. Maybe make a video of your experiences with Kobe and some of the photos and stuff. I said, I'll do that. So on Monday, I made a video. I hadn't showered. I was in my pajamas. I was sitting right here. And within 24 hours, 6.6 million people had seen it.
Stacy, how did I miss it? Was it on TikTok?
It was on TikTok, and then somebody recorded it on their phone and put it on Twitter, and then 5 million people saw it there. And then ESPN wrote me, and all these other outlets wrote me, and the Philadelphia Inquirer came to the house to interview me, and I was on Access Hollywood. And as of right now, it's 11 million views on TikTok, and suddenly I jumped from my 1,200 subscribers. I'm just shy of 100,000 right now.
Wow.
And it's interesting because that's not 100,000 theater kids. You know, it's a lot of Kobe fans. So I've been hesitant to put stuff out there because it's not a gel of my branding. It was just a very unique moment.
I know you've done a lot of theater. Do you think that you had more exposure then through that?
I had my 15 minutes of fame. It was ridiculous. I mean, it's like close to 30 million views across all these different platforms. It was, if you Google like hashtag RIP Kobe, I'm the #1 video on the internet.
I will do that.
It's ridiculous. I'll send you the link.
Stacy, you are an entrepreneur, and you and I brainstorm a lot about these kind of things. So tell me, how can you leverage that audience?
I think what I can do, and it's interesting, and I haven't shared this with anybody. So basically, I went from a very teenage, female-heavy audience to a male, older audience practically overnight. Like it's skewed because it's a lot of basketball fans. I think what I can do to leverage that audience is to make some general marketplace content as well. I will obviously lose subscribers because a lot of basketball people are not going to be like, yay, theater kid auditions. Let's talk about Heather's the Musical. But I can make videos about dancing. And that always appeals across many genres. Some of those people will have kids in their lives or know people in their lives that do theater. And as far as I know, I'm one of the only, I don't target college auditions. There's a huge market for that junior, senior year. I want them younger. I want to target the 11, 12, 13-year-olds because if they get how to audition then by the time they go off to somebody who can handle them junior and senior, because there's a lot of technicalities that I don't know about admissions, etc. They're so positioned well because it's so competitive. At that level, it's so competitive. I have a friend, he's done 7 Broadway shows, 9 Broadway shows. He was pre-med at Duke and did everything, and he was all set to go to med school, and somebody told him to audition for this master's program at Cincinnati Conservative of Music, which is one of the top master's programs in the country. They take 2 people a year. He was one of them.
Wow.
So he said, okay, well, I guess I'll put being a doctor on hold, and he's now starring on some Fox television show. His name's Aaron Lazar. He's wonderful. But to help kids be able to even compete for that, they have to have experience on stage. They have to get cast. They have to be able to handle their nerves. So I get them young. So I think to answer your question, I'm not quite sure how to leverage it fully yet, but I have some ideas. But in the meantime, I'm still definitely speaking to my theater kids because they're devastated. Their shows got all canceled.
Yes.
There's nothing so dramatic as a teenage theater kid. So, you know.
Well, I've seen you do some activities on Facebook.
Yes.
Do you have one particular that you'd like to share with us?
I would. I actually just went live in my Facebook group at 12:30 today, listing out, now that we're kind of in phase 2 of the quarantine, called month 2, probably into month 3, what are we able to create? So I'm doing 2 free webinars. I don't have the landing page set up. This is all kind of like on the flow. But one is about audition mistakes and how to avoid them. And one is about how to dance at a dance audition if you're not a dancer. Basically, it's the 15 commandments of dance auditions specifically for non-dancers and audition mistakes you don't have to make and how to avoid them permanently and immediately. We're doing a cabaret. We're doing a concert online, I just announced, and auditions for that are going to be soon. That's going to be Friday, April 17th. I have relaunched my blog. I just, for the first time in 447 days, posted an Instagram post yesterday. It's like all of a sudden, I have time to do all the little things like on the list. So there's a super well of creativity coming out. I've got TikTok videos. The one thing I will share that I know that people can go to right now is bit.ly, so bit.ly/theater kid audition guide. So if you have someone in your life who's a theater kid, and or you are a theater kid or a theater mom, and it's theater with an R-E, the fancy spelling. It's a 21-page guide about basically my 30 years of knowledge, free in this PDF, about all the things, how to get inside the director's head and give the audition that they're dying to see, that'll make them go like that kid who was the beast. Yes, that's the person for the part, and just kind of eliminate all other competition. And we have our Facebook group called the Theater Kid Quarantine Performance Zone that we are having. So you're talking about having fun. That's kind of our little corner of the internet right now. We're having so much fun. We post questions on the daily, and people are sharing their singing, but they're also sharing what shows they love. And we have questions about what show would you love to see again? What was your least favorite show? You know, or what was the biggest flop you saw, but you loved it? So theater people love to talk about those things. So it makes me joyful to contribute to that, and it helps me distract from everything going on. So
yeah, and about everything going on. Of course, I knew you were going to bring a positive expression to this. I can't imagine anything else. But it's different for you at home now, too. Your husband's home. He's a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And he's home now. Olivia's home now.
Mm-hmm.
And you've still got baby go. And so how are you managing it? All of your projects and your family right there?
Oh, it's a spinning plates, basically. It's interesting. Right before this all happened, end of February, beginning of March, I put the call out. I said, I need baby care. And I love her so much. And it healed my heart to be able to stay home with her the whole first year and everything. And I still want to be home, but I've also discovered that I'm happiest when I'm creating, when I'm contributing. So I had a couple babysitters together, and now all of a sudden I have Mike, and he loves it, but he's very present too. Wow, she's a lot.
Uh-huh.
I said, yes. So I work in the mornings, and then I kind of feel him out to see how
if he's done.
Uh-huh. And more often than not, I love him. He is, and I'm okay with that. There's a role and responsibility that you can either resist or embrace being a mom. Mm-hmm. I'd say, you know, being a wife, okay, but like being a mom and wife, for example, God bless my husband. The baby woke up at 1:30 last night. He slept through it. He woke up around 4 o'clock when there was a huge storm. And I, then got the baby back to bed around 5. And then I had a call at 8 o'clock this morning, and he slept until 10:15. So, in my brain, I'm going, how many extra hours of sleep did he get? And since he's a teacher, he's in the union, so he gets his paycheck, which we're very fortunate about. But I have, variable, flexible income. So I require focusing, but I also require helping the family. So I often don't get a lot of sleep, but I'm also very happy doing what I do. Like writing a blog and creating on Canva the Pinterest image and the Instagram image, and then I love it. So it doesn't really feel like work. And I am building the audience. I am building the email list. I have ideas for stuff online for the future. One of the things that I'm desperate to do, and I see it happening now, I'm like, oh, I don't think I missed the window, because it's a very specific niche. I am really good at teaching people who are not dancers how to look like dancers. So I need
you.
and listen, even in a professional setting, I have Broadway friends who are incredible singers who are like, I would take your class. Mm-hmm. I can break down what to focus on in an audition in the dance call because non-dancers panic. They panic. And it's a normal human trait. You're being judged and here's people who are killing it, but you don't have to worry about that. You know, this is why you have a coach like me to help you with that. But I have an idea for an online monthly subscription dance class that is slow. That is, here's, you know, technique, warm up for 15 minutes, technique for 15 minutes. Here's a combination to build your confidence. And then here's the real world audition tempo that you're taught at, and then how to break that down and what to focus on. And so that I'm like salivating to get everything together for that, but I need a bigger space than my house. So I know we might end up dancing in the street. We might record it in the street since the streets are empty.
Appropriate, actually.
Dancing in the street. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the theme building right now. Wow. Just hearing all of your ideas makes me realize how much I miss our brainstorming.
I know, I love you so much.
We used to kind of hold each other accountable to some of our ideas and projects. So let's connect on that level again.
We'll take this in a side chat.
Yeah.
You and I.
Exactly. I'm just thrilled to see the expression of creativity and positive energy coming from you. And I hope it kind of rubs off on a lot of people and inspires them.
Well, I would love anyone listening to this to come find me on Facebook. Say you met me through this podcast. We'll connect. I can pour some joy on you too. You can come play with us theater people. We're weird, but we're a lot of fun.
You are weird.
I know. I love it.
I do too. I love you, Stacy. So I want to take a moment of silence just to reflect on the actual tragedy that's going on around us.
Yes.
And then we'll have a curtain call.
I like it, the 11 o'clock number.
Yes. Togethering, because we will get through this better when we get through it together.